Well, had it with the rich getting richer? Well, how about putting a cap on how rich the rich can get? Switzerland is putting it to a vote. How long before you think Democrats try the same here? Come November 24th, Swiss voters will weigh in on a referendum that limits top executives paid who know more than 12 times what their lowest paid workers make. And you'd have to have lived in a cave to miss this president's relentless bashing of the rich, and they're paying what he calls their fair share to know this is fairly global. Not exactly letting me cake, but somewhere out there I suspect someone is readying a guillotine just in case. But then it hit us here at Fox Business. In this Alpine mad dash to cap pay, where's the mad dash to cap taxes? To Cato Institute senior fellow Dan Mitchell on this big Swiss miss, I guess. Dan, what do you make of it?
Well, first, I predict right now that the Swiss people will reject this referendum. They rejected a class warfare tax referendum back in 2010, and way back in 2001, they actually imposed a cap on spending. Not a cap on taxes, but a cap on spending that has served them very well. So this initiative, which is promoted by the left-wing party, I think will go down in flames, even though the polling data is close now. Why? Because the Swiss people know that they are doing much better in terms of their economy than the high-tax countries like France and Italy and Greece and others. And I think when it comes time to vote, they're going to realize don't ruin a good thing.
You would think. I mean, a lot of liberals, I'm not saying this of all liberals, a lot of liberals are not great at math or realizing the big return you get from having a competitive economy or one that limits regulations and such, so that a lot of U.S. firms have congregated there and done business and started opening up shop in Switzerland. They don't want to chase that away. But some of these social democrats in Switzerland who are gaining some bit of influence are saying it isn't worth it. Surely the Swiss population must be seeing that's screwy.
Well, that's why I'm predicting that this referendum will be defeated. Switzerland right now is the fourth freest economy in the world, according to the Fraser Institute. Their living standards are higher. Their GDP is stronger. They attract a lot of investment, not just to banks. We're talking major multinationals like Nestle's, like Schindler. A whole bunch of them are using Switzerland as their location for European manufacturing and involvement, whether they're U.S. firms or local Swiss firms. The Swiss people are not going to wreck that, at least I would hope they shouldn't, because, heck, you could go back 60 years in the past and see that New York was our richest, most prosperous state, and yet they went down the path of high taxes and high spending, and look at how they're losing jobs and investment to other states. I don't think the Swiss will make that mistake. I think they've learned from what's happened in the rest of the world.
And you would look at France, and you would look at some of these other countries that have tried surtaxes, to say nothing of what's been tried in a variety of states here in the United States, where Maryland and others have had these surtaxes or these millionaire taxes that ended up not being just on millionaires. The millionaires disappear. That money doesn't materialize, but they keep trying.
I think there is a problem for at least some segment of the population in all countries where they look at success and instead of thinking, how can I mimic that? How can I copy that? They have this zero-sum mentality that the economy is a fixed pie. So if a rich person is getting a lot of money, it must be at their expense. That's not how the real world works. As JFK said, a rising tide lifts all boats, but I think a lot of people on the left just don't understand that, maybe because they lack economic knowledge, maybe because they don't understand history, but that's a challenge that those of us at think tanks like the Cato Institute, we need to educate people about shared prosperity coming from free markets and small government.
And it was JFK who came up with the idea of a tax cut that sadly didn't come to fruition until after he passed away. Dan, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Dale.